Okay, how do we hit overheads? I am probably the worst person to do this, but you're here for some reason, so I'll give it the old college try. We'll cut to a point of me on Championship Point in Atlanta a couple of years ago. That point has haunted me for years, and so I have not whiffed an overhead since that point, but honestly, this video is gonna be the blind leading the blind. So let's go. So just because I can't do it doesn't mean that I can't teach it. The biggest thing that I see on overheads is we're up at the kitchen and we're here, right? The ball goes up and we hit our overhead like this. We generate a lot of power, whether it's with our forehand, backhand, or overhead, actually with our non-dominant arm. So think about it. If I'm throwing a pitch, if I'm a baseball pitcher, you never see somebody line up on the rubber and pitch here, right? What you do is, or what you see is these players are gonna turn and they're gonna rotate their body into this pitch, right? They're gonna get a lot more velocity that way. And the same exact thing is true of our overhead. So a good way to work on this overhead is the old tennis trick. When the ball goes up, you're gonna point at it with your non-dominant hand. This is gonna do two things. A, this is going to help you in your rotation. And then B, this is gonna prevent you from swinging downwards and hitting the ball into the net. When our non-dominant arm comes down, our upper body, our torso comes down with it. When our non-dominant hand stays up, our torso stays up, and we're gonna avoid a lot of those net errors. So we're gonna do a drill where my partner is working on their defensive lob. If you wanna know the execution of the defensive lob, we have another video for you. But my partner's gonna be working on their defensive lob, and I'm gonna be working on my overhead. Just nice and easy, thinking about pointing towards that ball. Tomahawk. Yeah. A couple more. Not again. Thank you to Duper, Dynamic Universal Pickleball Ratings, for sponsoring this video. Duper is the world's #1 pickleball rating software, with events and more coming to you. Not again. It's sunny. It's sunny, that's what it is. You hate to see it. You absolutely hate to see it. That one works too. If you can't find somebody that's willing to let you pelt overheads at them, it is something that you can just do on your own. You can start in a position from the kitchen, toss the ball up to yourself, and just work on pointing. Okay. Another question here is, I hear a lot of times, I point up towards that ball and my first step brings me into the kitchen. It's going to, right? When we do turn our body, our first step naturally brings us into the kitchen. We want to shuffle outwards. A lot of times players get called in the kitchen because they take that first step here and they push off and hit. In pickleball, we want to take that first step in, shuffle, and hit if possible. And if we can't get to that ball after a shuffle, if it's already gone, that's when we need to just turn around and try and go for that lob recovery. Footwork here being, I'm gonna step into the kitchen. I know that my first step is in the kitchen, but I'm gonna try and pop out and hit the overhead from the ground. Here we go. Yeah. So overheads are, a lot of times we lick our chops, but occasionally we put those in the net, and sometimes we're leaving a little bit too much power on the table. If we're not closing up our stance, we're not going to be able to hit that ball hard enough to put the ball away. So work on pointing up at that overhead and getting your feet established behind the kitchen. You'll win a lot more pickleball points. If you liked today's video, please feel free to share it with a friend and make sure to subscribe. It helps me out and helps me grow my channel.